It's got to be one of the worst places anybody mentally ill can be. A lot of it because of the isolation that often happens in prisons. Usually people need to be around people. And also sometimes the chaos and the craziness that goes along with being in prison. So it's not a quiet place. There's lots of activity and yelling and screaming, and so it's really one of the worst places. The other thing is there's usually not any type of rehabilitation that goes on in prisons. It's usually a place where people go to be punished, so they're really not getting any type of mental health treatment or counseling. So definitely one of the worst places for that. If you go back to Eastern State Penitentiary right in Philadelphia, the Quakers who ran that prison thought it would be a great idea to put people in prison and isolate them and let them be with God and their thoughts. And one of the things that they found very quickly happened is people went insane. That is not a place, being isolated from other people actually creates mental health problems and creates insanity. So being in prison is probably one of the worst places, and what people really need is to get the therapy they need, to get the help they need, to be around their family, to get that kind of rehabilitation that cannot happen in a prison system.
I think mentally ill people should be put in prison because when you look at sentencing and trials, in order for a criminal to be convicted and sentenced to prison, they have to be competent, they have to understand that they committed the crime, and mentally ill people just don't have that same mentality. Most of the time they aren't actually aware that they committed the crime, and they are not competent enough to stand trial. So if they make it past the sentencing, putting them in prison won't do any better because ill will not be fixed unless you get the treatment. Ill will still be ill when they get out of prison, and it'll be worse because then they're with convicted criminals, which in turn makes it worse. They need the proper hospitalization and medication, and prisons just don't do that. Consequences can be devastating: homelessness, victimization, incarceration, repeated hospitalization, and death, because they don't have, criminals when they get out, they don't have anything most of the time, but mentally ill, they don't know how to deal with that. The same with criminals. They can't just accept that they don't have anything once they're in jail. Prison does ruin people, and it will ruin mentally ill people.
This man attempted to break his bed.
These people, by and large, are not criminals. They're people with mental illness, but when they act out, they end up in the jails because it's the only place that will take them.
CBS News obtained records from police departments across the country, many in states that have made budget cuts to mental health care. Police logs in 12 cities revealed that mental health crisis calls have increased an average of 37.5% over the last 4 years.